The massive space station called Nexus Prime floated in the darkness between stars like a giant metal city. Its towers stretched for miles in every direction. Lights flickered across its surface like tiny stars. This was the center of Galactic. Power. This was where the 12 most powerful alien species in the galaxy made decisions that affected billions of lives. Li Tae-min stood at the window of his small transport ship and watched the station grow larger as they approached. He was a tall man with graying hair and calm eyes. For 20 years he had served Earth as a diplomat. Before that he had been a soldier. Now he carried the hopes of all humanity in a simple briefcase. The briefcase contained Earth's formal request to join the Galactic Council. After 50 years of watching from the edges of space, humanity was finally ready to take its place among the stars. At least that is what they hoped. Park So-jin sat beside him reviewing files on her tablet. She was young and brilliant. She could speak 12 alien languages perfectly. Her job was to make sure nothing got lost in translation during the most important meeting in human history. Behind them sat Kim Woo-bin. He was built like a mountain and twice as tough. Scars covered his hands from battles in the outer colonies. He was here to protect the diplomatic team. Everyone hoped his services would not be needed. Their ship docked at the visitor section of Nexus Prime. The airlock opened with a soft hiss. Alien air flowed into their transport. It smelled different. Metallic, strange. The docking bay was enormous. Ships from dozens of worlds sat in neat rows. Some looked like works of art made from crystal and light. Others were dark metal beasts covered in weapons. The human transport looked small and simple compared to these alien vessels. A tall figure approached them. It had 4 arms and skin that changed colors like a rainbow. This was Ambassador Zeth from the Keth-Moran species. He was the only council member who had spoken positively about humans in the past. "Welcome to Nexus Prime," he said in perfect English. His voice sounded like music. "I am honored to escort you to your quarters." Tae-min bowed slightly. "The honor is ours, Ambassador Zeth. We are grateful for this opportunity." As they walked through the station corridors, Tae-min noticed how other aliens stared at them. Some looked curious. Others seemed afraid. Most looked disgusted. Humans were still new to this part of the galaxy. Most species had only heard stories about the aggressive mammals from Earth. Their quarters were comfortable, but small. 3 rooms connected by a narrow hallway. The walls showed scenes of Earth, blue oceans and green forests. It was meant to make them feel at home, but somehow it made Tae-min feel more alone instead. So-jin immediately began setting up their communication equipment. "We should contact Earth and confirm our arrival," she said. Woo-bin checked the security systems. Everything looked normal, but something felt wrong. His soldier instincts were telling him to be careful. The next morning they were escorted to the preliminary meeting chamber. It was a circular room with 12 tall chairs arranged around a raised platform. Each chair was designed for a different alien species. Some were enormous. Others looked delicate as flower petals. Only 6 of the 12 council members were present. The others had sent representatives or holographic projections. This was not a good sign. Important matters required all council members to attend in person. Elder Veshtar from the Keth-Moran spoke first. He was ancient even by alien standards. His 4 arms moved gracefully as he talked. "We gather today to consider humanity's request for council membership. This is a significant moment. Never before has a species so young requested to join our ranks. Overlord Krextal from the Drakethul military caste stood up. He was a massive creature covered in thick armor-like skin. His voice sounded like grinding metal. "Young and dangerous," he growled. "These humans have spread across 30 star systems in less than 50 years. They build weapons instead of art. They fight wars instead of seeking peace. Why should we trust them with council membership? Tay-Min felt his jaw tighten but kept his expression calm. This was expected. The Drakethul had opposed human expansion from the beginning. High Arbiter Zondar raised one of his 6 hands for silence. He was the oldest being in the room. His species had founded the Galactic Council thousands of years ago. Let the humans speak for his people, Zondar said. His voice echoed strangely in the chamber. Tay-Min stood and walked to the center platform. He looked at each council member in turn. Some avoided his gaze. Others stared at him like he was a dangerous animal. Honored council members, he began. Humanity comes before you with open hands and peaceful hearts. Yes, we have expanded quickly across the stars. But this expansion has brought prosperity and freedom to dozens of worlds. We have not conquered. We have colonized empty planets and made them bloom with life. Krextel snorted loudly. What about the Kepler incident? What about the Titan rebellion? Your people solved these problems with violence. Those were defensive actions, Tay-Min replied calmly. Pirates attacked our supply ships in the Kepler system. We protected innocent civilians. The Titan rebellion was led by criminals who wanted to enslave the colonists. We freed those people from oppression. You call it defense, Krextal said. We call it aggression. Sojin whispered translations of the side conversations happening around the room. Most were not positive. Several council members were already discussing humanity's rejection. Elder Veshtar leaned forward in his chair. What does humanity offer the council? He asked. What unique contribution can your species make to galactic civilization? This was the question Tay-Min had prepared for. He opened his briefcase and pulled out a small device. We offer innovation, he said. We offer determination. We offer the ability to solve problems that others cannot. This device can purify water on any planet. We have shared this technology freely with dozens of species. We ask for nothing in return except the chance to help. He placed the device on the platform. Several council members leaned forward to examine it. We also offer loyalty, Tay-Min continued. When humanity makes a promise, we keep it. When we call someone friend, we stand by them forever. When we call someone enemy, we remember that too. The last words carried a subtle warning. Several council members shifted uncomfortably in their chairs. The preliminary session lasted 6 hours. Questions came from every direction. Some were genuine attempts to understand humanity. Others were clearly designed to trap Tay-Min into saying something that could be used against Earth. Throughout it all, Tay-Min remained calm and professional. Sojin provided perfect translations. Wu Ben watched everything with soldier eyes, looking for threats. As the session ended, Elder Veshtar approached them privately. I must warn you, he said quietly. Some council members have already made up their minds about humanity. They see your species as a threat to the established order. Be very careful in the coming days. Tay-Min nodded grimly. He had expected this. Earth had known this would not be easy. That night in their quarters, the 3 humans discussed their options. The Drakethul and Varanathi are definitely against us, Sojin reported. The Keldan Empire is undecided. The others are waiting to see which way the wind blows. We need more allies, Wu Bin said. Right now we only have the Keth Moran supporting us. That is not enough. Tay-Min stared out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, Earth waited for news. Billions of humans hoping their representatives could secure a peaceful future among the stars. Tomorrow we present our formal application, he said. Whatever happens, we have done our best for humanity. None of them slept well that night. Outside their quarters, alien voices whispered in dark corridors. Plans were being made. Decisions were being reached. The fate of humanity hung in the balance. The formal council session was supposed to begin at dawn. Instead, guards came to their quarters in the middle of the night. They were not the polite escorts from before. These were soldiers wearing full battle armor and carrying energy weapons. "Will come with us now," one of them said through a translator device. His voice was cold and mechanical. Tay-Min sat up in his bed. "What is the meaning of this?" "We have diplomatic immunity." "Not anymore," the guard replied. "You are under arrest by order of the Galactic Council." Wu Ben moved toward his weapon, but stopped when 12 rifle barrels pointed at his chest. There were too many of them. Fighting now would only get them all killed. So Jin grabbed her communication device, but it was dead. All their equipment had been jammed. No signals could get in or out of their quarters. They were marched through empty corridors to a holding area deep inside the station. The cells were small and cold. Each human was placed in a separate room. They could not see or talk to each other. Hours passed. No one came to explain what was happening. No food or water was provided. The only light came from a dim panel in the ceiling. Finally, the cell doors opened. Armed guards escorted them to what should have been the council chambers. Instead, they found themselves in a courtroom. 12 judges sat behind a high bench. The seats for observers were packed with aliens from across the galaxy. This was not a membership hearing. This was a trial. High Arbiter Zondar struck a metal rod against his desk. The sound echoed through the chamber like thunder. "The accused will stand," he commanded. Tay-Min looked around the room. This was all wrong. Diplomatic missions did not end in trials. There were laws about this. There were treaties. "You are charged with crimes against galactic peace," Zondar announced. "You are charged with unauthorized territorial expansion. You are charged with threatening established civilizations. What evidence do you have?" Tay-Min demanded. "These charges are false." A large screen descended from the ceiling. Video footage began to play. It showed human soldiers attacking alien settlements. It showed Earth warships destroying peaceful trading vessels. It showed colonial marines executing prisoners. Tay-Min stared at the screen in horror. None of this was real. The uniforms were wrong. The weapons were wrong. The faces were wrong. This was all fake. This footage was taken from security cameras. Across the outer rim, Krextal announced, "Your people are nothing but violent savages." More evidence followed. Audio recordings of human commanders ordering attacks on civilian targets. Documents showing plans to conquer alien worlds. Testimony from supposed witnesses who claimed to have survived human attacks. All of it was lies. All of it was fabricated. But it looked real enough to convince anyone who wanted to believe it. Elder Veshtar stood up from his chair. His arms shook with anger. "This is a mockery of justice," he declared. "Where is the defense for the accused? Where is the chance to present counter-evidence? This is not how the Council operates. The Council operates as we see fit," Zondar replied coldly. "These humans are too dangerous to be allowed the usual protections." Veshtar looked around the room at his fellow council members. Most avoided his gaze. They had already decided what would happen here. "I refuse to participate in this farce," Veshtar said. He walked toward the exit, but guards blocked his path. "You will remain and witness justice being served," Krextal growled. "Your people supported these humans. Perhaps you share their guilt." Veshtar returned to his seat but did not sit down. He stood as a silent protest against what was happening. The trial continued for 3 hours. More fake evidence was presented. More lies were told. Tay-Min was not allowed to speak in his own defense. His requests for legal representation were denied. So Jin managed to activate a hidden transmitter in her clothing. She began broadcasting a desperate message toward Earth. The signal was weak, but it might get through. "Earth, this is Sojin," she whispered. "We are being framed. This is a setup. They plan to execute Tay-Min. Prepare for the worst." The transmission lasted only seconds before the guards noticed and destroyed the device. So Jin was struck across the face and dragged back to her seat. Finally, Zondar called for the verdict. Each council member was asked to vote. One by one, they declared humanity guilty of all charges. Only Veshtar refused to participate. The vote was 11-0 with one abstention. Humanity was declared an enemy of galactic civilization. The sentence is death, Zondar announced. The human leader will be executed as an example to all who would threaten the peace of this galaxy. Te-Min felt his heart stop. This could not be happening. They were diplomats. They had come in peace. You have made a terrible mistake, he said quietly. My people will not forget this. Your people will learn their place, Krextile replied. After they see what happens to those who oppose us. The execution was scheduled for the next day. It would be broadcast across the galaxy as a warning to other aggressive species. The message was clear. The Galactic Council would not tolerate threats to their authority. That night Te-Min sat alone in his cell. He thought about his wife back on Earth. He thought about his children who would grow up without their father. He thought about the billions of humans who had trusted him to secure their future among the stars. He had failed them all. In the morning they came for him. The execution chamber was filled with cameras and reporters from dozens of worlds. Alien faces stared at him with curiosity and disgust. To them he was just another dangerous animal being put down. Te-Min was strapped to a metal table. Wires were attached to his body. The execution method was designed to be slow and painful. The council wanted everyone to see exactly what happened to those who crossed them. Do you have any final words? Zondar asked. Te-Min looked directly into the main camera. His voice was calm and steady. I came here seeking peace for my people. Instead you have chosen war. You think you know what humans are capable of. You have no idea what you have awakened. The execution began. Pain shot through every nerve in his body. But Te-Min did not scream. He did not beg for mercy. He died with dignity while billions of aliens watched. In her cell, So-Jin wept for her friend and mentor. In his cell, Wu Bin planned revenge against everyone who had participated in this mockery of justice. But far away in another part of the galaxy, something else was happening. So-Jin's desperate message had reached Earth. Military leaders were gathering. War councils were being formed. The Galactic Council thought they had sent a message to humanity. They thought they had shown their power and authority. They thought wrong. They had just signed their own death warrant. Within hours of Te-Min's execution, every human colony received the same message. Every military base went to full alert. Every research facility began preparing their most secret weapons. The age of human diplomacy was over. The age of human vengeance was about to begin. The aliens had wanted to see what humans were really capable of. They were about to find out. Elder Veshtar sat alone in his chambers watching the execution footage. He had tried to warn them. He had tried to stop this madness. Now it was too late. He activated his private communication system and sent a message to his home world. Tell our people to prepare for war, he said. The humans will come for revenge, and they will not show mercy to anyone who stood by and watched. Their diplomat died. The galaxy would never be the same again. The emergency alarm echoed through the halls of Earth's Global Command Center. Admiral Choi Dong-wook ran through the corridors still putting on his uniform. He had been asleep when So-Jin's message arrived. Now he was wide awake and filled with cold fury. The command center was chaos. Officers shouted orders while technicians worked frantically at their stations. Giant screens showed star maps and fleet positions. Red warning lights flashed everywhere. President Yoon Jae-sung stood at the center of it all. His face was pale, but his eyes burned with anger. He had just watched the execution footage. He had seen Earth's greatest diplomat murdered like a common criminal. Admiral, report, Yoon commanded as Choi entered the room. Choi saluted quickly. All fleets are responding to the alert, sir. We have confirmed the authenticity of Park So-Jin's transmission. Envoy Lee Tae-min is dead. The president closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them again, they were filled with steel. Gentlemen, we are no longer seeking membership in their little club. We are going to destroy it completely. A holographic image appeared above the main table. It showed the 12 species of the Galactic Council. Their homeworlds glowed like targets on the display. Dr. Han Mi-young entered the room carrying a secure briefcase. She was the head of Earth's most classified research division. For 20 years she had been developing weapons that officially did not exist. Mr. President, she said quietly, you asked me to prepare for this day. Project Reckoning is ready for deployment. She opened the briefcase and activated a holographic display. New weapon systems appeared on the screens. Ships that looked nothing like the peaceful exploration vessels the galaxy had seen. These were engines of destruction, designed for one purpose only. How many council species voted for the execution? Yoon asked. 11 Sir Choi replied. Only the Keth-Moran representative abstained from voting. Then 11 species will cease to exist. The Keth-Moran will be spared for showing honor when it mattered. The president turned to address the entire command center. His voice carried to every corner of the room. For 50 years we have explored space peacefully. We have offered friendship to every species we encountered. We have shared our technology and asked for nothing in return. Today they showed us what they think of human kindness. He gestured toward the screen showing Tamin's execution. They called us violent. They called us dangerous. They said we were a threat to galactic peace. They were wrong then. But they will be right very soon. Cheers erupted from the officers and technicians. Earth's military had been preparing for this moment without knowing it. Every war game and training exercise had made them ready. Dr. Han Mi-young activated more displays. Quantum weaponry that could destroy entire fleets in seconds. Dimensional warfare technology that could make planets disappear. AI-controlled drone. Swarms that never missed their targets. The Council thinks they know what human technology can do, she explained. They have only seen our civilian ships and basic defense systems. They have no idea what we built in the deep research facilities. Admiral Choi pulled up tactical displays of Council space. Each alien homeworld appeared with detailed information. Population centers, military bases, fleet positions. Nothing was hidden from Earth's intelligence network. Our agents have been gathering this information for decades, he said. Every human, trader and diplomat has been sending us data. We know everything about their defenses. President Yoon studied the displays carefully. The Council species had grown comfortable in their power. Their fleets were spread thin across vast territories. Their homeworlds were barely defended. They had not fought a real war in centuries. How long to mobilize our full strength? Yoon asked. 72 hours, Sir Choi replied. The colonial marine divisions are already boarding transport ships. The battle fleets are fueling and loading ammunition. Special operations teams are preparing for deep infiltration missions. Communications began arriving from Earth's colonies. Mars base reported full military activation. The Jupiter orbital shipyards were working around the clock. The Outer Rim colonies were recalling all civilian ships and preparing for war. Every human settlement in the galaxy was united in their fury. They had all lost friends and family to alien prejudice over the years. Now they had a chance to settle all debts at once. Colonel An Hyun-woo appeared on the main screen via secure transmission. He was the leader of Earth's most elite Special Forces unit. His teams had trained for missions that regular soldiers could not even imagine. Sir, the Reaper teams are ready for deployment, he reported. We can begin infiltration operations immediately. Negative, Colonel Yoon replied. This will not be a secret war fought in shadows. This will be total warfare conducted in full view of the galaxy. Every species will see what happens when you murder. Human diplomats. Intelligence Chief Bae Ji-hoon entered the command center carrying urgent reports. His network of spies and agents stretched across the galaxy. They had been watching and waiting for orders. Sir, I have confirmation that Kim Woo Bin and Park So-jin are still alive, he announced. They are being held in maximum security cells on Nexus Prime. We will get them back, Yoon promised. But first we have work to do. The president activated the galaxy-wide communication system. This message would reach every human colony and every alien world. It would be broadcast on every frequency and translated into every language. Citizens of Earth and her colonies, he began. Today we learned that peace has a price. Today we learned that some species mistake kindness for weakness. Today we learned that the galaxy views us not as friends, but as enemies. His voice grew stronger and harder. Very well. If they want enemies, then enemies they shall have. But they will learn too late that humans make the worst enemies in the galaxy. The message continued for 10 minutes. Yoon explained exactly what had happened to their diplomatic mission. He showed footage of the sham trial and brutal execution. He named each species that had voted for Taemin's death. To the 11 species who condemned our envoy, your time is ending, he said. You wanted to see what humans are truly capable of. Your wish is granted. Across the galaxy, humans received the message. Colonial Marines grabbed their weapons. Ship captains changed course toward Earth. Scientists activated classified research projects. The entire human species prepared for war. Dr. Han Mi-young began the final weapon preparations. Quantum bombs that could crack planets. Virus programs that could shut down entire technological civilizations. Nanomachini swarms that could consume enemy fleets. The Council had made one critical mistake. They thought they knew what human technology looked like. They had seen exploration ships and civilian transports. They had no idea what humanity built. When they were actually trying to kill something, within hours massive shipyards hidden in asteroid fields began launching new vessels. These were not the peaceful ships that had visited Council space. These were weapons designed by a species that had learned warfare from thousands of years of practice on Earth. The alien species would learn too. Late. That humans had not forgotten how to fight. They had simply chosen not to. That choice had now been taken away from them. Admiral Choi received the final fleet reports. Every ship was ready. Every soldier was armed. Every weapon was loaded and targeted. The age of human exploration was over. The age of human conquest was about to begin, and it would be terrible to behold. The first strike came without warning. The Varanasi homeworld of Keslan Prime had been peaceful for 300 years. Their people were known for hating outsiders and supporting the execution of alien diplomats. They would be the first to learn what human vengeance looked like. Colonel An Hyung-woo and his Reaper teams materialized from quantum stealth ships in the planet's upper atmosphere. They wore armor that bent light around them, making them invisible to all sensors. Their weapons could cut through tank armor like paper. The mission was not to conquer the planet. The mission was to destroy everything that made Varanasi civilization possible. Team Alpha struck the planetary communication center. In 15 minutes, every satellite and transmission station was reduced to smoking ruins. No calls for help could leave the planet. No warnings could be sent to other worlds. Team Beta hit the power generation facilities. Fusion reactors that had run for centuries were overloaded and destroyed. Cities that had never known darkness were plunged into complete blackness. Emergency systems failed one by one. Team Gamma targeted the transportation networks. Magnetic rail lines were severed. Spaceports were demolished. The orbital elevators that connected the surface to space stations were cut down like giant trees. Nothing could move on or off the planet. Within 6 hours, the entire Varanasi civilization was paralyzed. Billions of aliens sat in the dark, wondering what was happening to their world. Their government could not communicate with anyone. Their military could not coordinate any response. Then the real attack began. Captain Song De Bin commanded the flagship U.S. Retribution from her position on the bridge. Around her massive warship floated the largest human fleet ever assembled. 200 vessels that had been built in secret over 20 years. Each one carried enough firepower to destroy a moon. The Drakeville Grand Fleet was approaching fast. Their commander, Overlord Krextal, led 3,000 warships toward what he thought would be an easy victory over primitive humans. His species had conquered dozens of worlds with these same vessels. Song studied the tactical display with calm eyes. The enemy fleet was massive and impressive. Their ships were twice the size of human vessels. Their weapons had longer range. Their shields were nearly impenetrable by conventional weapons. It did not matter. Humans did not use conventional weapons anymore. Fire quantum torpedoes, she ordered quietly. The space around the human fleet began to glow with strange energy. Weapons that existed partially outside normal reality launched toward the enemy. They passed through shields like they were not there. They ignored armor like it was made of paper. The first Drakeville ships simply vanished. One moment they were there. The next moment they were gone. Not destroyed, not exploded. Just erased from existence. Krextal screamed orders from his command. Ship, but nothing made sense. His sensors could not track the human weapons. His shields could not stop them. His mighty warships were disappearing faster than he could count them. All ships fire everything, he roared. Destroy those human insects. 3,000 alien warships opened fire at once. The volume of energy was enough to boil a small ocean. Plasma. Beams and particle cannons filled space with deadly light. The human ships activated their dimensional shields. The alien weapons passed through them like they were firing at ghosts. Not a single human vessel took damage. Meanwhile, the quantum torpedoes continued their work. Hundreds of Drakeville ships vanished every minute. The massive alien fleet was being erased from reality with terrifying efficiency. In 14 minutes it was over. 3,000 alien warships had been reduced to empty space. Not even debris remained. The most powerful military force in the galaxy had been completely eliminated without causing a single human casualty. Captain, Song opened a communication channel to the Drakeville homeworld. This is Captain Song De Bin of Earth's military forces, she announced. Your fleet is gone. Your warriors are dead. Surrender now or share their fate. The response was immediate surrender from every Drakeville world. A species that had never known defeat was broken in less than 15 minutes. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. Human forces struck 8 council species simultaneously. Each attack was perfectly coordinated and utterly devastating. The Keldan Empire tried to hide their fleets in a nebula. Human ships found them anyway and destroyed them with weapons that worked perfectly. In any environment, the Ethak Confederacy attempted to negotiate. They offered tribute and submission. The human response was silence, followed by the complete elimination of their space-based civilization. The Merkin Unity tried to flee to another galaxy. Human ships were faster. Human weapons had unlimited range. There was nowhere in the universe they could hide. Intelligence Chief Bei Ji-hoon coordinated rescue operations on Nexus Prime while the galaxy burned around them. His agents had infiltrated the station months ago. Now they moved to complete their mission. The security systems on Nexus Prime were advanced, but they were designed to keep aliens out. They had never been tested against human technology. Bei's operatives moved through the station like ghosts. They found Kim Woo-bin first. He was in solitary confinement, but still conscious and angry. When the cell door opened, he was ready to fight until he saw human faces. About time, he said grimly. I was starting to think you had forgotten about us. Never, Sergeant, the lead operative replied. Earth leaves no one behind. Park, so Jin was in worse condition. Days of interrogation had left her weak, but her spirit was unbroken. She smiled when she saw the rescue team. "Did you get my message?" she whispered. "We got it," the operative confirmed. "And we are making the council pay for what they did." As the rescue proceeded, emergency broadcasts filled the communication networks. Species after species was reporting the complete destruction of their military forces. Worlds that had stood for thousands of years were going dark one by one. Elder Veshtar sat in his private chambers watching the reports. His forearms shook as he realized the scale of human retaliation. 8 entire civilizations were being eliminated. Billions of lives were ending. He activated his personal communicator and sent a message to Earth's fleet. "This is Elder Veshtar of the Kethmoran Council. I formally request an audience with your commanding officers. My people wish to discuss terms of surrender and cooperation." The response came within minutes. It was from Admiral Choi Dong-wook himself. "Elder Veshtar, your people showed honor during our time of trial. You will be spared and protected. Report to the human fleet coordinates I am sending. Come alone and unarmed as a sign of trust." Veshtar felt relief flood through his body. His species would survive this purge. They would live to see what the galaxy looked like under human rule. On Earth, President Yoon watched the battle reports with satisfaction. The operation was proceeding exactly as planned. The council species that had voted for execution were being systematically destroyed. No prisoners were being taken. No mercy was being shown. The aliens had wanted to see what humans were capable of when pushed to war. Now they knew the age of Galactic Council rule was ending. The age of human dominance was beginning, and it would last forever. 6 months had passed since the galaxy learned to fear humanity. Where once 12 proud species had ruled the stars, now only 4 remained. 8 entire civilizations had been erased so completely that historians would debate whether they had ever existed at all. Ambassador Lee Sung-ho stood on the observation deck of the rebuilt Nexus Prime. He was the younger brother of the executed diplomat Lee Tae-min. The resemblance was strong, but his eyes held a coldness that his brother had never possessed. Below him, construction crews worked around the clock. The old council chambers were being torn down. In their place rose a new structure designed by human architects. It was called the Terran Hegemony Command Center. The message was clear. Humanity now ruled the galaxy. General Kang Min-soo approached carrying status reports from across human-controlled space. He was the military governor of all occupied territories. His job was to make sure the surviving species understood their new place in the universe. "Sir, the Kethmoran delegation has arrived," he reported. "Elder Veshtar requests an audience to discuss the final terms of cooperation." "Send him in," Sung-ho replied. "It is time to formalize the new order." Elder Veshtar entered the chamber alone as requested. His forearms moved nervously as he approached the human ambassador. 6 months ago, he had been a powerful council member. Now he was a petitioner hoping for mercy. Elder Veshtar, Sung-ho said without looking up from his reports. "Your people have been cooperative since the transition. This has been noted and appreciated. We understand our position in the new galaxy," Veshtar replied carefully. "The Kethmoran people are grateful for human protection." Protection was the word humans used now. They did not call themselves conquerors or rulers. They were protectors of galactic peace. Any species that threatened this peace was removed from existence. "The terms are simple," Sung-ho explained. "Your people will govern themselves as they always have. Your worlds will remain under Kethmoran control. Your ships will fly freely through human space. In exchange, you will provide intelligence about potential threats and support human peacekeeping operations. It was a generous offer compared to what had happened to other species. The Kethmoran would keep their freedom and dignity. All they had to give up was the illusion that they were equal partners with humanity. "We accept these terms." Gratefully, Veshtar said. "Excellent. There is one more matter. We are establishing memorial gardens on each surviving world. They will honor those who died during the Council's reign of terror. Your people will maintain the one on your homeworld. The memorial gardens were another human innovation. They supposedly honored victims of alien oppression. In reality, they reminded everyone what happened to species that opposed human authority. Each garden contained exactly 1 million flowers, one for each human who had died due to alien prejudice over the years. Of course, Ambassador Veshtar agreed. We will tend it with great care. After the Kethmoran leader left, Director Nam Yu-jin entered with her daily briefing. She headed the Galactic Reconstruction Authority. Her job was to rebuild civilization according to human standards, the latest. Population surveys are complete, she reported. The Rylan Collective has dropped to sustainable levels. The Thuric Empire has requested permission to establish new colonies. The Zephrani are still adjusting to the new trade regulations. These were the 3 other surviving species. They had either abstained from the vote against humanity or had shown some form of respect during the diplomatic mission. Their reward was continued existence under human oversight. Each species was carefully managed. Population growth was controlled to prevent resource conflicts. Military forces were limited to internal security only. All interstellar trade required human approval. It was a stable system that ensured peace through absolute human dominance. Any problems with the new arrangements? Sung-ho asked. Minor issues only, she replied. Some younger aliens still talk about the old days when their species were independent. Our education programs are addressing these misconceptions. The education programs taught alien children about the dangers of the old council system. They learned how human leadership had brought peace and prosperity to the galaxy. They were trained to see themselves as junior partners in a human-led civilization rather than conquered peoples. What about the memorial projects? Sung-ho asked. Construction is ahead of schedule. On all worlds, Nam replied. The monument to your brother will be completed next month. The memorial to Lee Taemin was being built where the old council chambers had stood. It would be the largest structure on Nexus Prime. Alien children would visit it on school trips too. Learn about the cost of opposing human diplomacy. The inscription was written in every surviving language. Here lies a man who sought peace. His death taught the galaxy the price of rejecting it. Below that in smaller text was the real message. Humanity remembers. Humanity never forgives. President Yoon Jae-sung appeared on the main communication screen for his weekly address to the galaxy. These broadcasts were mandatory viewing on every world. They reminded all species about the new reality they lived in, citizens of the Terran hegemony, he began. Today marks 6 months since the establishment of galactic peace. Crime is at historic lows. Wars have ended. Trade is flourishing. This is what happens when civilization is guided by competent leadership. The broadcast showed images of bustling human colonies and grateful alien workers. It did not show the mass graves on 8 dead worlds or the fear in alien eyes when humans walked by. Some may ask what happened to the species that opposed our peaceful mission. Yoon continued. They chose conflict over cooperation. They chose hatred over harmony. They chose extinction over existence. Their fate serves as a permanent reminder that peace requires strength. To maintain it, the surviving species had learned this lesson well. Their representatives competed to offer tribute to human leaders. Their scientists shared all research with human authorities. Their military commanders begged for permission to serve in human fleets. Elder Veshtar had been right during those first diplomatic meetings. Humanity was too young and too dangerous for the old council to handle. But he had been wrong about one thing. Humans were not seeking membership in someone else's organization. They were building their own. Park So-jin now served as Director of Alien Affairs. Her experience as a prisoner had given her unique insights into how other species thought. She used this knowledge to design policies that kept them loyal and productive. Kim Wu Ben commanded the Galactic Security Force. Former enemies now served under his command. They wore human uniforms and followed human orders. Many were grateful for the chance to serve the species that had shown them the true meaning of power. The galaxy was at peace. Not the fragile peace of the old council built on negotiation and compromise. This was the permanent peace of absolute dominance. Humans ruled because they were stronger. Other species obeyed because they had no choice. Trade flowed smoothly between worlds. Pirates and raiders had vanished. Territorial disputes were settled by human arbitrators whose decisions were final. The weak were protected by human strength. The strong were controlled by human oversight. It was everything the old council had claimed to provide, but had never actually delivered. The difference was that humans did not rely on treaties and good intentions. They relied on the certain knowledge that disobedience meant extinction. Ambassador Li Sung-ho finished reviewing the day's reports and looked out at the stars. Somewhere among them were the homeworlds of species that had yet to make contact with humanity. Eventually they would be discovered. Eventually they would be given the same choice that had been offered to the council: submit to human authority and prosper under human protection, or refuse and join the extinct in history's footnotes. Most would choose wisely. Those that did not would serve as lessons for the others. The age of human exploration was over. The age of human dominance had begun, and it would last until the stars themselves burned out. Humanity had come to the galaxy seeking friendship. They had been given war instead. Now they had won that war so completely that no one would ever dare to start another. The galaxy was finally at peace, and it would stay that way forever.